Welcome to Chapter 3, Section 4 of Algebra 1, Solving Multi-Step Linear Equations. As a quick reminder, when you solve an inequality, you do it exactly the same as solving equations, except when you multiply or divide by a negative. Then you must flip the inequality sign. Here's example number 1. This should be in your notes. We're going to solve 5 minus x is greater than 4. To isolate the x, we're going to first get rid of the 5. To do that, we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So I have minus x is greater than negative 1. Now, be careful here because often when you do this and you subtract that 5, you forget this little negative sign. Don't do that. Now, to get x by itself, I need to have it positive. Currently, it's not positive. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1. By multiplying by negative 1, I have a negative times a negative, which makes it positive. On the right, I have negative 1 times negative 1, which makes a positive 1. And because I've multiplied by a negative, I must flip the inequality sign. So this is my new value. And here is example number 2 for your notes. To solve this, we need to get all the constants on one side and all the variables on the other. I am going to move my x's to the left. And there is more than one way to solve this. I'm going to show you just one of them. And actually, I'm going to do it to make sure I highlight another important feature. And then I'm going to move all my constants to the right side. So my variable is on the left, and my constant is on the right. To isolate my variable, I need to get rid of that negative 2. So I'm going to divide by negative 2. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. So x is going to equal negative 3/2. And now my sign here must change because I multiplied or divided, in this case divided, by a negative sign. Here is example number 3 in your notebook. Make sure this gets in there. Now to solve this, I must first simplify by doing the distributive property. So I have negative x plus 4 is less than 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4 from both sides. This time I did my constants first. So I have negative x is less than or equal to 2x minus 20. Now I'm going to get my variables all on the left. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So I have negative 3x is less than or equal to negative 20. And to isolate my x, I'm going to divide by negative 3. So I'm going to have x greater than or equal to, notice since I divided by a negative number, I switched my inequality, positive 20/3, which is x is greater than or equal to 6, because 3 goes into 20, 6 times, that's 18, and 2/3. Take a quick look at a story problem using this information. Here we have a garden, and we're going to put a fence around it. Now our friend already has a fence here. That's a 12-foot fence. And because of that, we know that this side here is 12 foot. What we don't know is the length of these two sides. But we do know that we have 42 feet of fence. So we need our 42 feet to be less than or equal to, because we don't have any more fence, that's all the fence we have, 2L, 2 times the lengths, plus 12. And now we get to solve. So subtract 12, subtract 12. So we realize that 30 has to be less than or equal to 2L. Whoops, my mistake there. 2L. Divide both sides by 2. And I ran out of room, so I'm going to the left. 15 is less than or equal to L. So knowing that my sides here and here have to be less than or equal to 15, I know that the possible length of my garden is everything that is less than 15, but of course greater than 0. And I'd even go as far to say greater than. It can't be equal to 0 because you wouldn't have a rectangle. sometimes we have some special solutions we need to work with. Let's take a look at one of them. So we have 10 minus 8a is greater than or equal to 10 minus 8a. So in this case, we have the assignment equal on both sides. Okay? Since we have an equal sign right here, that is one of the options available to us. The left must be greater than or equal to the right. Will this case have many solutions for A, no solutions for A, or only a single solution for A? Well, in this case, no matter what A is, no matter what its value is, it will always be a true statement. They will always be equal. So in this case, this solution is many solutions. You've heard me say all real numbers. Where there might be a special solution, so let's take a look at it. Here I have 6m minus 5 is greater than or equal to. Now on the right, I have 7m minus m. So that's going to be 6m, but I have a plus 7 as a constant. If I subtract 6m from both sides, you will see that I have minus 5 is greater than or equal to positive 7. Will that ever be the case? Is there any value of m that can make that a true statement? No. Since there's no value of m that can make that a true statement, this has no solution, because there's not a value of m that will make it true. Here is your quick self-check. Please take a moment, make sure you understand what multi-step inequalities are, what the properties of inequality are, those we'll look up in the book and take a look at there, and what solutions means. And tell me how well you think you could do at solving problems similar to those we solved in this video.